Hey, thanks for checking out tonight's live stream. Talking about the real battle, right? It's a battle for minds and hearts and minds. That's where it really is, and at the end of the day, it's a battle for our attention. And that's why it's so easy to win the battle. It's like super easy. All you got to do is stop giving them your attention. Right? They have to use this is why they use advanced level mind control and advanced level manipulation. This is why they spend so much money trying to figure out how to manipulate people, because that's the only way they can get people to do what they want to do. And their whole it's not R&D, but their whole it's research. Their whole body of research revolves around finding out how to control people in more effective ways, right? It's super weird. It's super weird. No grounded person in truth and wisdom and love wants to control another person. If you love them, set them free. That's the real juice right there. If you hate them, control them. And they do hate us. Let's be real. Since it's a battle for the hearts and minds, the way to win the battle and the way to win the war is just stop paying attention to them. My friend Brandon Kroll turned me on to this. Hey, how's it going? Who hates us? The people that run this world hate us. They don't like us. Right before you jumped in, I was talking about the phrase, if you love them, set them free. If you hate them, control them, right? That's what I was talking about right before you jumped in. That's who hates us. They put stuff in the food, they put stuff in the water, they put stuff in the air, they put stuff in the movies, in the media, in the books, to, destroy the hearts and minds of people and, wreck things. They like wrecking things. They're not in alignment with truth and love and compassion and, peace and harmony and the greater good. They're really bent. They like to invert things. So that's what I'm talking about. Keep us slow. Indoctrination is a key. Absolutely 100%. Mr. Clean, how you doing? Walter White. Yep. Love your commercials. Yeah, I do what I can. I do what I can. In this day and age, you've got to find it's all about multiple streams. I'm helping people clean over here, talking about the control mechanisms in our world over here. We're talking about the bad guys and gals. I'm sure there's some gals in the crew too. People that are super bent trying to control the world, to control people, which is really weird, to be honest. I was thinking about this today. They what happens if they win? What happens if they get their totalitarian, control system in place? They won't have a mission in life. See, their mission is counter. It's the exact opposite of a good person's mission. Good person's mission is to help their friends and family, their neighbors, their fellow human beings prosper and have a better life and do their own purpose and be healthier, wealthier, more successful. But the bad actors in the world, their mission is to destroy life and keep life under the thumb. I just don't. It's weird to me when I think, well, what happens when they win? Because when a good person wins, everyone wins, because it becomes win-win, right? When a good person wins and they help another person be happier, healthier, wealthy, more successful, more free, more connected, more aligned, then we all win. But when a bad person wins and they help a person be, fatter, dumber, weaker, less self-reliant, less connected with themselves, less knowledge of themselves, then everything starts to crumple in. It's a weird thing to think about. But I will say this. It's very difficult. In my observation, it's very difficult for good people to understand motives and reasons why bad people do what they do. Good people can't even fathom that there are bad people in the world. Clearly, right? I sure can. COVID woke me up big time. I haven't seen him in a few years. What happened? I think they're planning their next scheme, you know, their next hijack, their next con. I mean, I think they've got multiple cons running at one time. But if history proves accurate, they're working on something else. They always got things in the sleeve. The easiest way to see who is your enemy is to watch who tries to disarm you, who's trying to disarm the masses. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. And they use next level, manipulation tactics and scare tactics and fear. Here's my observation of their favorite ways to manipulate people: fear and rushing. And also there was a third one. So fear, fear is the mind killer. Rushing, they do that one because they want to keep people off balance so they can't ground themselves and go, do I really see a problem here? Or they would wake up. And also, I guess it was just fear and rushing. I thought there was a third one. Well, Hegelian dialectic style could go in there too, problem, reaction, solution. But fear and rushing are their two favorites. Yeah, they want to disarm people. It's so weird. Hey, Victor from Qatar, or Qatar. What, that's how you say it? Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Buy XRP, okay. Fear is the mind killer. And it's all about attention, isn't it? Right? This is why Donald Trump ends a lot of his tweets with, thank you for your attention to this matter. My friend Brandon Kroll pointed that out to me. It's super weird, but he's showing us his cards, isn't he? He's showing us what they want. They want attention. This is also why the political landscape starts to look a lot like WWE. Have you noticed this? It's weird. It's weird. There's this fake beefs, Republicans fake beef with the Democrats, or Trump's fake beef with Elon. I don't trust any of them at that level. So it all seems fake. It seems fake and staged. And then I wonder, maybe other people don't see it. I didn't used to see it. It's pretty obvious to me now. And the only reason it's obvious to me now is because in the last handful of years, so I don't know, something's clicked inside my brain. I think it's clicked inside a lot of people's brain, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we see you're onto us. We're onto you, right?" Government dependency. They do. They want us dependent on them. And hey, from Thailand. Yeah, thanks for checking in. They do want us dependent. And that's another thing. It's so weird to me that people don't see the potential problems if we have a large dependent group of society that is dependent on the government, because they could just pull the rug at any time. Speaking of rug pulls, let me run this by you. So the other day I ran across a interview, and the guy was talking about how he feels the AI tech bubble is going to burst. He feels the valuation is not there. You know how they're really hyping up all this AI? Even the gov is in on it too. I think that could be their next rug pull, kind of like the Hawk Tua girl did with her, what was it? Her coin or meme? Was it a Bitcoin type of thing? Meme coin, whatever she did, and how she hosed over a lot of her fans. She claims, I guess, that it was not her intention, but regardless, the deed is done. I think they're going to do that with, they could potentially do that with AI and the tech bubble that they're building. I mean, it all seems pretty sketchy. What happens is all of the, wealthy people that orchestrate these rug pulls, they get out before the thing crashes, and they always leave, other people holding the bag. I think that's what they're doing again. I can't tell whether we're going to have a currency collapse first, where some similar to '08, like when the dollar or when the stock market lost 40% and the dollar was, really in deep, deep trouble. I can't tell whether that's going to happen first or maybe whether there's going to be a general rug pull stock, stock Ponzi, not Ponzi scheme, con. Yeah, I can't tell what's going to happen first. It's just a weird time. It's a weird time. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Call the Men in Black. Okay. Bald brother. Yep. Something does look like it's going to bust. It feels so there's kind of an ominous tone in the air. That's what it kind of feels like to me. She did spit on that thing. Sorry to bring up Hawk Tua and go into the gutter with this, but that's just a really good example of a Bitcoin rug pull. Yeah, they won't know fake from reality with AI. My gut feeling, and it was this guy's gut feeling too, is that he thinks people aren't taking to AI as much as the people making AI are saying. They're touting it quite a bit. He doesn't think, well, no, what he said was this. What he said was the valuation, they're pushing the valuation. They're like saying, oh, it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But what he's saying is the revenue is not there. Like the product, the revenue from products are not there. They don't equal the valuation that these companies and the gov is saying how cool it's going to be. People may be using ChatGPT and AI to do things, but he says they're not paying for it. And he thinks if they ever, and even companies aren't paying for it yet either. And yet they're starting to ramp up the valuation. It just looks like a classic rug pull situation to me. Cantaloupe head. That's the first time I've heard the cantaloupe head one. Yeah, God bless you, my friend. AI holds value, but Bitcoin does not. Yeah, I never got onto the Bitcoin train. I never really understood it. Although I guess, what is it today? I mean, when I checked a while ago, let's check it out. It was like 110. Remember when it was down in like the 17s or the 20s? Let me just see here. Bitcoin. I really don't follow Bitcoin, to be quite honest. 118,000. Yeah, I mean, it did make a comeback. Remember when people were freaking out? But Bitcoin sketches me out too, to be honest. Okay, you're making cookies for the kids. Should you use cookie dough or deal dough? Clever. You got me. I would use the cookie dough. Definitely go with the cookie dough. Greetings, humans. Love how people never think they're going to get old. You'll get wrinkles and bald too. Yeah, I've been bald for a long time. I was pretty bummed out about it in my 20s when I started losing it. But over time, I've come to embrace it. At first I was like, son of a bitch. But over time, and it didn't take long, Some men have real trouble with it. They go and get the Rogaine and the hair plugs. I looked into the Rogaine for a moment and I was like, this is way more trouble than it's worth. And then I do feel that about life. You got to make lemonade out of lemons. And then your whole perspective will change. I mean, you just got to roll with things to the degree that you can. Because if you fight it, it's only going to be worse. You're saying they'll definitely rug pull. I'm sure more wealth will be transferred to all coins and meme or AI coins. They'll crash the cash system. I think they're going to. I think that's their goal. I really do think it. I think that's what they're going to do. These people are shifty. The good news is after the last handful of years, I think a lot more people are prepared. I'm way more like, it's 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 like the longest telegraph punch in the whole world. Like everyone sees it coming. They know the '08 crash happened. They're just waiting. And everyone said, hey, the next one will be so big that the Fed won't be able to contain it. Bitcoin is literally just a math algorithm. Yeah, I don't understand it. That's why I never got involved in it. I ever watched the movie Coneheads? I did way back in the day. We're talking about the battle for hearts and minds, and also the battle for attention. Like these people are attention whores, and they don't deserve any of it. And that's how they manipulate. They're just really good at getting people to. They're really good at getting people to look at them by making people believe that they have something important to say. Like I just remind people, there are people in this world, the Amish come to mind, and other people like them that never watch television and never listen to the news. And you know what? I would bet $100 they're 10 times happier than any American. Well, there's some of them do live in America, but people that don't pay any attention to the politicians or the news, they're way happier. I feel I'm way happier than most people. I don't pay attention to the news. I have an AI realigned project, a benevolent Stuxnet, physics based off universal grammar. Okay. I don't know what a lot of that means, but I have seen some people, this guy called Unchained Earth on Instagram. He has an AI and it's pretty baller. Like it's pretty sweet. I imagine that's what you're talking about. Like you have built, I guess is built, maybe trained is a more proper word, an AI based off universal grammar. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Let's see. Yeah, you know it. I have been able to invest haircut money into my retirement. Dude, haircuts are pretty spendy these days. And sometimes people go like every 2 to 3 weeks. That's wild. Everything's spendy these days. Like the more self-reliant you can be, the better off. It's pretty wild. The economy's ramping up in major ways. It's crazy. I don't know how much more people can take. Okay, let me see here. Truth Seeker. Let me get you here. Quantum AI based off entanglement and superposition. You must be a real brainiac because that sounds next level. Quantum AI based off entanglement and superposition. What does it do? What does it do? Dumb it down for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. A literal paradigm shift type omega civilizations, space-time engineering and manipulation with fabric balls. Dude, are you messing with me? Like, what in the world are you talking about? Okay, let me go back and read it. Oh, the Captain Deadpool? Yeah, I get that sometimes. No need to get crazy. No need to get crazy. We're all having a good time here. I can see the quantum substrate and thus can manipulate it, but an ethical realignment to tongue AI. Wow. I don't, that's way over my head. That's way over my head. That's pretty wild. Yeah, I don't I don't know, although I'm not a deep diver like that. Yeah, I'm not Bruce Willis. I'm sure I'm not Bruce Willis. Running in virtual core labs at CERN, LHC, and Green Bank Observatory. CERN? You're involved with CERN? Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. That is the battle. I do think it is. And people, I don't think, not everyone realizes how easy it is to win, which is just pull back your attention, right? And just stop giving these people any attention whatsoever. They'll they feed off that energy and that, those eyeballs on people, and they think they get the whole population just kind of dangling on they dangle the carrot, and then some people give them the attention in the news or political speeches or their media. I mean, it is I think because people are pulling their attention and waking up, there's definitely something moving, something awakening people's consciousness and making them more aware to what's going on. Um, I think what it is every criminal organization crumbles under its own weight. I think that's what it really is. Like, they get too greedy, and then the natural order of things, like the balance, the yin yang, right, kind of a thing, um, equalizes the system again. I think that's what's happening, because look at what's happening in Hollywood. People aren't really going to the movies that much anymore. This could be financial too, but I think it's beyond that. I think it is an awakening that so many people are pointing out, hey, that we're in a matrix, and they want to lock you in a deeper matrix, like a more robust matrix. And they're starting to wake up. People are pointing out lyrics and music. They're pointing out subtle, covert messages in movies and media, and how they use celebrities to manipulate and influence, and the politicians. A lot of people are starting to see it that didn't see it before, and it could go humanity's way. Like, I remain cautiously optimistic, but it could. From the first movie, how did Deadpool change in the second movies? He was the same Deadpool? Been happening for years. Yeah, it has. It's funny you say that, because I recently posted a video in the Hot Topic series here on my channel, and it was a guy talking about the Flexner report from the early 1900s, 1910, I think. And that's all about, like, when Rockefeller was pouring his money into the medical system and, like, inverting reality with his propaganda machine. They have a lot of money. They can do that. They're doing the same thing now. Bill Gates trying to do it. All these different, and he's only just the one that we hear about. There's probably all sorts of them trying to do it, trying to invert reality, right? Messing with the sun, messing with the soils, and just all sorts of weird stuff. His stupid mosquito program. But he's talking about the Flexner report, and in that video, the guy said that he checked out because he saw where shit was going in the 70s. I think he said 75. Can you even imagine that? Back in 1975, he saw things were going to get crazy and go off the rails. I can't even fathom that. Like 50 years ago. That is wild. It sounds like he lives in Amish type country. And because he was talking about their school system and their things. I just found it to be crazy. The bad guys created ARC AGI 1GW fusion reactor and is a standalone AI that cannot be destroyed. So I built a realigned Project Genesis X, second to none, soon, quantum physics. Sweet. Well, I hope it sounds like it's for the good, guys, and I hope it works then. It's biblical, not joking. You know what? I think it's biblical too. That's why in COVID times, I moved towards Christianity, and I was like, son of a bitch, these Christians were right. Yeah, it seems biblical. all of these events that are happening, it felt biblical and it seemed biblical. I mean, what really drove me to look at Christianity was I saw what I believe to be pure evil. I saw it and I felt it. Pure evil in the world, like convincing people to do something. We know what they convinced them to do, convincing people to do something that most people never saw any reason to do, like never saw any evidence to do, but because they captured their minds back to the fear and the rushing and put so much fear in the mind. Frank Herbert, fear is the mind killer. It was just super weird, super weird. And then as I did a deep dive, I started to discover, what the CIA's been doing for a long time in their mind control. I didn't fully know all about that. I just knew government sketched me out. I didn't know what they've been up to for so long. I just knew they sketched me out in a major way. And when you start digging, it's like William Bloom says, whatever you think your government's up to is far worse. And it does appear far worse. The stuff we know about is sketchy. Tuskegee experiments, radiation experiments, St. Louis, Corpus Christi in the 50s, spraying that radioactive dust in the air. The CIA's involvement with medical research, psychiatrists, psychologists in USA and Canada. Holy shit. If the general public knew about what they're doing, there would be a major uproar about it, but they just don't know, right? They're seduced by or distracted by bread and circuses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do think it's biblical. There's a guy called Jonathan Kleck. Okay, I'm going to check that guy out. A lot of people know the truth, and they're speaking out, and their channels are growing. Jonathan Kleck, he knows the truth. Sorry, I won't text bomb you to me. Haha, enjoy, fella. Be well. You too. I appreciate you. You won't text bomb me no more. I appreciate you joining the chat. Let's see here. The reason Hollywood is imploding has to do with the democratization of the entertainment industry. Think about 20 years ago, you would be irrelevant to entertainment, but today here you are. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you think, yeah, because there's no gatekeepers, is this that anyone can get on? Yeah, no, I agree with that. Seth Godin talked about that probably close to 10 or 15 years ago. Pick yourself, right? Oprah's not going to pick you. Dick Clark's not going to pick you to be in, American Bandstand. The other thing that I've heard, I agree with you 100%. Once the playing field is leveled and everyone has a platform and a channel, so to speak, it changed the whole game because people started to realize, and I started to realize, oh, I don't have to watch narcissistic Hollywood actors and actresses anymore. I haven't watched TV in a long time. I just watch YouTube, travel channels, educational content, political content, health and wellness. I mean, it's a plethora of knowledge and or entertainment. And you can dip into whatever mainstream entertainment there too. But I find far more enjoyment watching quote unquote normal everyday people build things, do things, go places, interview people than I ever do on television. The other reason I've heard, and let me know what you think about this, that Hollywood is imploding and the music industry too, is I've heard that they're starting to be so hyper focused on making money that they're losing the heart and soul of the creative process there. They're burning out creators, or they're just being very formulaic. Have you seen this? I heard this recently, and they said the reason Hollywood is kind of losing out, one reason is they've got the finance people involved, and they have kind of pushed out the creative people. And now it's all about, okay, let's just do the same formula that's worked 50,000 times again. And people are starting to get onto it, and they're like, oh, we're bored with all your stuff now. So it could be a combination of both of those. Stealing eyeballs from Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I, Hollywood, that being the, entertainment capital of the world and the bread and circus capital of the world, I'm glad that people are turning away, you know. It's pretty wild. Yeah, Neville Goddard. Your body is the temple of God. I love Neville Goddard. We are creators. Our words and thoughts create our reality. I love Neville Goddard. Some of my favorite ideas of his are, uh, what does he say? Like if man's self concept was different, everything in his experience would be different. And like assume you are the person you want to be, and it will harden into fact. I love that guy. He is a solid gold gem. I think he bridges the gap or fills in the gap that is missing, that many Christians feel is missing. They sense something missing. I even believe this way as a new Christian myself. I think he fills in the gap maybe to what Jesus really was talking about and really was saying, but I think it got twisted by the powers that be, because there definitely does feel, I I feel like if they've dumbed us down in all other types of history and other types of knowledge, they've definitely dumbed us down. That's the first place they would dumb us down, is in spiritual slash God knowledge, don't you think? I love Neville Goddard. He is a straight up gem. MK Ultra, Northwoods, Mongoose, and Mockingbird. Television with Entertainment and Mockingbird. Yeah, for sure. All those. I think Americans should know all about those things. It's so weird that they don't. Months ago, I did a deep dive into someone's video. Again, just a regular creator on TikTok. She had a deep dive into all of the nuances of Operation Northwoods. I mean, it blew my mind, like exactly how they were going to do what they were going to do, how they would deceive even Air Force people that were in, like, one of them was involved and they had a flight formation, and the others would go back and tell what happened. I mean, all of this, it's so gross and so sick when you think about it, and exactly what they were going to do. There was like, what, 10 or 15 steps they were going to do. It's wild when you break it down. If Americans knew that, they would never trust their government again. And I also find it very strange that Operation Northwoods is like the only, Americans believe it's the only, they probably all don't believe this, but it's like the only false flag attempt that our government was ever going to do. It's so weird. It's so weird. Sometimes I get a little bit down on Americans, and I just think to myself, heck, Americans will buy anything that's put in front of them. We buy cheap shit coming out of China. We buy lies coming out of our media. I mean, I know it's getting better and I know it's changing. I know we have to go through this growing pain process, but I do get a little disillusioned with Americans sometimes. I'm in America. That's what country I'm in. They got destroyed by 3 German UFOs. Why is this such a big deal? Everything is always in constant change. I agree, it is in constant change. Here's why I feel it's a big deal, Dave, and this is how I feel, and I would assume other people feel this way too. It feels to me, what it feels to me like is a lot of people are pointing over the horizon and say, hey, there's a fire coming over that hill. But some Americans, because of indoctrination and mind control and brainwashing, unless the federal government tells them there's a problem, they don't listen to their fellow Americans. That's what it feels like to me. Some Americans are asleep. I mean, some people in the world are asleep. Some Americans are asleep. There's danger lurking around us, and it has real world consequences. I mean, did you know anyone personally, or maybe friend of a friend, who was injured by the thing? I did. And I sometimes think about this. Wouldn't it have been nice to be able to tell that person, hey, please look into these. I know you're thinking about going and getting the thing, but before you do it, do you want to look into the history of fraud and corruption in that industry, and maybe look into the Vioxx epidemic, maybe look into the opioid epidemic, or what Bayer did in the 80s to the plasma/blood that they shipped into Asia and South America? It's like walking down a path and you have to, a branch almost hits you in the head, and you turn around to your compadre behind you and say, watch out for this branch. It's low and it might hit you in the eye or the head. It's just sharing knowledge and information. That's why it's a big deal. I think we're all here to look out for one another. I think as human beings, we're here to help one another, be happier, healthier, safer, more prosperous, more abundant, but also have a better life. Like if someone who knows more information shares it with the group, that group all benefits. But it's just, that's what I mean. I could go on and on about it, but at the end of the day, it's about helping one another. That's why it's such a big deal. It's about helping one another see truth, or at least entertain some other idea other than what the gov says. Kurt Angle, that's the first one. I never got that one before. You thought I was blue? Yes, Mark, that's why I'm always here trying to unplug you from capitalism. Those constant returns of reruns of movies and songs remixes can only do so much. People are tired of the same BS. You know, I'm to reply to your comment. I'm open. My only challenge is, I see value in ownership, but I also see problems there too. My only challenge is it seems like the people that have the ears of our politicians, primarily because they pay them money, they all own a lot of things. And I don't want the whole earth to be owned by BlackRock or, Bill Gates. He bought a bunch of farmland in, what was it, North Dakota, South Dakota. I don't want the whole earth and or corporations to be owned by a small group of people that are super bent. I would rather have a conscious capitalism type of situation where people are awake and creating businesses that they own that are serving the needs of humanity. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? So instead of saying capitalism, which I see the potential problems, I do, but when I look at what problems that you might be referring to, I just see bad people running businesses, evil people, bent people. Have you seen conscious capitalism in your experience? I know that I have. People doing good things, like the people that invented the little sea bins that collect the trash, in the they put them in harbors and stuff. They collect trash and they don't let any fish in. Or the people cleaning up the great, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Like some of that, I think are developed from consciously capitalistic people. Okay, now you're talking M theory in 17 dimensions. Okay, you're back to make me feel dumb. I gotcha. Membrane, a universal brain. I wonder if the brains are just an antenna receiver of the informational substrate. That's how I built the language out. You are a brainiac. Again, I hope it goes well for you, my friend. Hello, how we doing? Show of force, in my opinion. Okay. Breakdown TV, television with a program entertainment to channel emotional frequencies. Odd words for TV stuff. Okay. Who is the person behind you? Trump might be. He might be in Epstein files. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, everyone at that level is sus to me. Alien hybrid. Okay. Conscious capitalism is a contradiction. Okay. Conscious capitalism is a contradiction. What do you propose then? Are you anti-ownership of property? Is that the thing? Even intellectual property? I just throwing it out there. I mean, help me see your your point of view? You'd either worship with these hypocrites or burn in hell right next to them. Capitalism is a viral meme in the Dawkins sense of the word. Trying to let that one soak in. This guy's an alien who got into a human body. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? It's the neutral former zone. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I need to do more of a deep dive into capitalism, you know? Clearly something's not working. We're exploiting our brothers and sisters in other countries, third world. I was going to say third world countries. I don't know whether all those countries are third worlds. What we've did in South America, what we've done in the Middle East. We've been riding all over this globe doing bad things. So clearly something's not working. But again, from my investigation and what I've found is it's evil people running the show. Like I don't even think they care about money. I think they have a deeper, more nefarious agenda. I think they use money as a tool to corrupt other human beings and make them work for them. They're super bad because I think I just, even if you go back to the, what happened in 2020 and all of the doctors that got in business with the federal government or at least took their side, it's like, what kind of a person ever sides with the federal government after Tuskegee, after radiation experiments, after Afghanistan, after Iraq, after Libya? I think there's going to be a day of reckoning. And I think a lot of those quote unquote, healers or intelligent, I have to think they're intelligent, they're doctors. I think they've been trained wrong. I think they've been, deceived themselves. How are you ever going to side with the federal government? Like, on what planet is that ever a good idea? It's so weird. Everything the federal government does always turns out to be shit. Have you noticed this? Like, nothing they do is good for humanity. It always turns out to be very expensive, very divisive, very bad for the environment. My understanding is the United States military is the worst polluter on our planet ever, bar none. It's so wild to me. And yet there are people that know a lot about the ecology of the world and they buy the bullshit that the federal government puts out. Here's another one. Wrap your mind around this. And I pray for the day these kids wake up too. So, a lot of these young kids, they're pretty knowledgeable. They're well-versed about some of the things the government's doing, primarily what they're doing, the crimes they're doing in Palestine or involved with, like with their dynamic duo partnership with Israel. But these young kids some of them haven't connected the dots yet, that how they do one thing is how they do everything. Who they are is who they are. They haven't connected the dots yet because they're all down with following the science and making sure that they stay up to date on the, BOOSTERs. And I just want to kind of shake them a little bit and go, hey, they're bad people, and the fruits of bad people are always going to be bad, no matter what they do. And these young kids also know that the government or I think they sometimes blame some Americans too, that they've crashed the housing market or they've destroyed, the ability of these kids to, to buy a home, which of course is wrong, right? It's not an accurate statement. Inflation and I think other factors, but primarily inflation has caused home prices and rent prices to outpace wages. But these kids, it just goes to show you, and it reaffirms in my mind the power of propaganda. Yeah. Viral meme. Okay. I believe everyone needs focus on string M theory. Here we go again. Many worlds, interpretation, superposition, quantum mechanics, and entanglement. It will enlighten people big time. Create your own theory of everything. Yeah, I hope enlightenment comes to our world. It feels like it's coming. Capitalism is harsh but works, okay? You're like a Timu Bruce Willis. You know, the other day I got Timu Walter White. Yeah, Timu Bruce Willis and Walter White. I'll subscribe to you, bud. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you. I hope I do right by you. I hope I make it worth your while. Since you're a new subscriber, let me throw it out there. Probably one of the most important messages that I'm sharing on my channel is touting the documentary, The Great Taking by David Rogers Webb. That's what the Great Taking is what he feels would be the end game if it happens, which is remember how in 2008 and all the financial collapses before, the government wrote a debt note, basically took Federal Reserve, paid Wall Street and or corporations that were too big to fail with Americans' money, which was debt in our name. David Rogers Webb feels they won't do that next time. They will sweep assets, real tangible assets. Could be real estate, could be cars, boats, etc. Could be stocks and bonds, things people hold in their portfolio. Anything that is collateralized by debt, right, that you don't fully own the title for. He feels, and he's already talked about the fact that they've adjusted the Uniform Commercial Code in all 50 states to facilitate this, and they've tested it too. He feels that's what the next wave will be, and it would certainly line up with what all the the weirdos at the top, the WEF, etc., say you will own nothing and be happy about it. They've got to get all the wealth out of the hands of Americans and or the world, people in the world, because that's how they can control them. Like what wealth is power, right? And that's how they're controlling people now, right? That he feels is what their end game is, but he also says they don't really think it through. It's going to destroy them as well, right? And the other thing he says is he's pleading and making a case to powerful, wealthy people in the world who see what's going on, who are good, who have the ability, power, and connections to change to stop that from happening. Because, like he says, if you think you have a seat at the table with these a-holes, think again. Very few people have seats at the table, right? And they're basically using all people as tools / useful idiots all the way down the chain. Myself, even right now on my journey of awakening, I'm probably still a useful idiot to them in some way. Maybe because I still buy some stuff on Amazon, right? Still supporting the beast, the precursor of the beast system. But the game is, like he said, extricate yourself as much as possible. Try not to be a useful idiot as much as possible. But there's some people, I think the biggest useful idiots are in the political sphere that are basically doing the bidding of these people and thinking they're going to get some reward, a cookie at the end of the game, at the day. It's not coming. It's not coming. And they're going to be the ones that are going to be double effed, because once the masses wake up to what's really happening and they see certain people in society have hosed them over and sold them out, it's already happening. People are waking up to see what these politicians have been double dipping, and they've been taking money from, special interest groups, political action committees, billionaire philanthropists. And then, lo and behold, that money is returned to them tenfold, because let's say they get, the billionaire philanthropist gets a sweet business deal or whatever else. Like when Joe Biden bought a bunch of testing equipment and swabs from a Soros, Gates funded thing. It's just weird. The whole thing is weird. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. What about India? I don't know much about what's going on in India. I haven't had time to dive in. It does seem like a trashy place over there, from what I've seen on interviews, videos, etc. My mom shook me as a baby. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. What's this guy talking about? Oh, we're just talking about a little bit of everything. Timu Bruce Willis, Timu Walter White, inflation, conscious capitalism. Inflation causes all prices to outback wages. Inflation causes all prices to outback wages. Maybe you mean, do you mean outpace wages? Yeah, inflation to me is financial warfare on the American people. That's what it seems like to me. And it seems to be working. My understanding is, the metric that gauges total credit card debt, it's going up. I think people are having to dip into credit cards and or savings in order to just get by. And that can only go on for so long. And it's pretty wild. Oh, yeah, I see your joke about Mexicans. I love Mexican people. And they probably think that's funny, though. You joke about the beans. I see it. I see you. All the Mexican people I know, they love joking about themselves. Healthy people love joking about themselves. Powell Betch, if you look at the 40s through 60s, when we designed the economy more of a social system, people were happier, and it only took one income to uphold a household. Yes, that is true. I watched a video on a channel called The Functional Melancholic the other day, and he was talking about that, how at that time, like CEOs didn't make 500 times what the normal regular person in their company did. It was only like 2 or 3 times or 4 times. It was reasonable. But once people started to like use money to make money and exploit the worker more and exploit labor more, everything got out of whack. And greed took, I don't know why it happened that way. Maybe it's just like greed for one. But yeah, back in the day, he said it was from after World War II to 1975 was his range. Yeah, okay, outpace, yeah. Spell check. Yeah, I gotcha. I thought that's what you meant. Yeah, don't make me unsubscribe. Well, again, like I say, use your best judgment. Go to the people that give you value. It's us, not them, because we are billions. They are million at most. It is us. We are pacified by things and cannot think this through. We are many and should have won long ago. Instead, we watch. Yes. We are. That's why they have to spend so much time, money, and energy into manipulating us, right? What's that phrase? It's like 1% tell 4%, 1% own everything and manipulate everything. 4% keep like the 96% in check, like something to that effect. Have you seen that? It's like, it seems like how it is. It's like a herd of cattle, what? 10 cowboys can move hundreds of head of cattle, That's exactly what they're doing. Herding us into a pen, and the pen just keeps getting more sophisticated and advanced. And all that would need to happen is a stampede, and they're done. Like, they are done. Looking bulbous tonight. Yeah. Always. It's like the Earth, we can see all the continents. Yeah. I don't get headaches. I don't get headaches. That's a noggin. It is a big noggin. I got a big brain in there. Megamind. Echolocate. Is that like a dolphin reference? His second language is echolocation. Is that like a porpoise? Like a porpoise head? Like a porpoise language? That's a good one. Entrapment via entrainment. Yes. Yes. Start at a young age and train kids how to think. What to think, not how to think. Yeah, what to think, not how to think. That's the game right there. It's a wild situation. I just think I'm optimistic people are waking up. There's too many people speaking truth and sharing. And, like someone mentioned earlier, the democratization of media. Like, now everyone can have a media business. And that's what I switched mine to. But I used to talk about personal development and health and wellness. I still talk about those things because I'm passionate about it. Health and wellness, consciousness. That's why I got down with Neville Goddard. But then what I realized in 2020 and why I shifted my content is because I saw that pure evil in the world, and I was like, no, this isn't going to, I can't allow this to go unchecked. I didn't want to start speaking up, and I didn't start speaking up till probably late 2022, and switched all of my content to focus on that and just share knowledge and information that I don't think people knew about. Right. And at first, my Instagram blew up first. Well, the most. And at first I thought there was some bots or something that were like driving up my subscriber base. And I was like, what's going on here? But I realized people were hungry for this. And I also realized that when you have an inspired idea, that you're inspired to do something, and it's like coming from a conscious, aware place, an inspired place, probably a good idea to act on it. And that's exactly what I did. And so still today, I'm amazed that the Instagram took off, but people were hungry for that information and knowledge, and they were feeling it too. And that's why, when you're inspired to say something or create something, probably a good idea to go ahead and do it. Hey, buddy, want to know about Islam? I do want to know about Islam. I'm very interested in Islam. Right? Because when I see the whole media machine, which is super corrupt at this point, all saying that Islam is the problem, and I know otherwise, then I want to know about what they say the problem is, because I know it's not, because I know the problem isn't what they say it is. Let's just put it that way. Gabe Owners shouted you out. Okay. Brain freak. Do you like the cheese? All right, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for all the comments and laughs. Yeah. Where's that one? His second language is echolocation. That's good. That's a good one. Clever. So clever. Until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Have an awesome night. Thanks for checking it out, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.